everyone, Dylan here, and welcome. Like I said, we're going to continue from last Monday, wink, wink, wink. I don't know why I said continue there, but whatever. It's an AEW Dynamite review for December 29th. Okay, I'll be honest, I had last week's review all typed out and everything. I just got lazy and didn't do it, so it'll be probably uploaded after this one, maybe. We'll see. Alright, let's get with the show. So, it starts with the opening graphic video package, whatever you want to call it. And then we get welcome to Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida. Started off, we have good old JR coming back, and he's recently beaten his cancer, I guess is the way to say it. He's in remission, I think is the correct terminology used there. But yeah, I can't be happier to see him. I'm so glad. I miss my man. After that, Jurassic Express comes out and they get ready for their match with Christian against okay, so at this point you'll have to forgive me, Dylan messed up his notes, right? So give me a second. Gotcha. So it's a 5-on-5. And it was the Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express with Christian against Red Dragon with Adam Cole and HFO, only it's Private Party and Matt Hardy. Hi, editing Dylan here to correct this in advance, right? It'd be nice if I knew what I was talking about before I hit record. So, it's HFO, being Private Party and Matt Hardy, and FTR versus Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express with Christian. By the way, I correct this later. But anyway, yeah. So back to the review. I don't pay much attention while watching these shows, so forgive me if I'm incorrect here. But is this a new setup, or is this just the first time I've paid attention to it? Oh, by the way, they announced it 5 times, but this is the last Dynamite on TNT. This crowd, by the way, maybe I just don't pay attention recently, unless I said it last. I think I typed it out for the last review, but this crowd is on fire, man. This is like WWE, almost like WWE in their prime, how loud this crowd is. If you're new to the reviews, this is what I'll say. I don't want to spoil the match for you at all, so I'm going to spoil it by giving the highlights. Please go out of your way to actually watch the match, right? So here's the highlights. And what I call highlights is stuff that pops me, right? So Christian was doing the 10 spot in the corner where you punch people for 10. And he was doing it to Cash, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry for this match. I said it incorrectly. It's Cash and Dax and HFO. There we go. Yeah, Private Party and Matt Hardy. My brain blanked. Sorry. I think I said that earlier, but whatever. Anyway, Christian was doing the 10 punches in the corner spot, and Dax tried to interfere, but he caught the last 5, so it made me laugh. They also had a spot where everyone punched Dax in the babyface's corner, and it was pretty freaking funny. Matt continues his tease on going back to the broken version of him, and I can't be more excited when it finally happens. This match, basically every match on this card, is beautiful from a wrestling standpoint. They had a couple spots that were a little sloppy, but that's whatever. That happens. Okay, so the ending sequence is Penta tags himself in, and he tagged himself in from Luchasaurus, and Luchasaurus hey, what are you doing? And Penta was don't worry, I got this. So then after Penta tagging himself in from Luchasaurus, some action happens from that. Penta goes for the finisher, but Christian ends up tagging himself in, and Penta's what are you doing? They get into a verbal argument in the corner, and FTR shoves Christian into Penta, and then they do the Shatter Machine, or whatever it's called now, for the win. And then they're arguing, and we go to the ad on them arguing. Alright, we come back, and Kingston rushed into the ring to beat up 2.0, because they've had a little package. I don't know why I called it a little package. Let me retry that. They've had a little program recently, and yeah, this is Santana Ortiz and Kingston against 2.0. yeah, it's just a brutal match. Please go out of your way to watch it. But 2.0 wins with a roll up, I think, on Santana while holding the tights. And the post match had a spot where 2.0 beats down Santana and hits him over the head with the ring bell. But then Chris Jericho comes to save him with Floyd, and he beats the shit out of 2.0. And then like Eddie gets all mad. He's like, cut the music, and then gets all up in Jericho's face, and they get into altercation. Ortiz has to like be the middleman between both of them. And we go on to a pre-taped video of MJF. He's talking. He says a lot of things here. Shocker, I know. But one of the things he says is like he teases that whole he's not working for a safe company and he'll have to see what the other man wants to offer him. And then he runs down CM Punk, calls him afraid because he didn't like go fight him last week anytime, despite the fact that he was the one that ran away. Then he goes to Wardlow, and he says that if Wardlow wins a bunch of matches, qualifies for the TNT Championship, and wins the number one contender spot on the ladder match, that he would have to relinquish it over to MJF. Of course, Wardlow's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then MJF has Smart Mark come in, and Smart Mark reads the contract, and it says basically that Wardlow has to give over everything he has to MJF. And then MJF says he's going to win some more matches to become AEW champion, so that way he holds both titles. We then go over to commentary, and they run down the card as we go to the commercial. Alright, so then we come back from commercial, and Tony Schiavone's with the Lucha Bros, and they immediately get cut off by Christian and the Jurassic Express. Christian throws down a challenge towards them for the Lucha Bros, and they accept. And this is like, look, I don't want to predict something that's not true, but if this is like the way how Christian's going to turn on them, it's so smart how they're doing it. We then go back to the ring where Wardlow comes out with Shawn Spears. It's a squash match against Colin Delaney again. Oh wait, hey, I know you, Colin. Anyways, the Powerbomb Symphony happens, 4 of them to be exact, and then he wins, and Spears, like, lets Colin go to the back, but then hits him over the back with a chair. They're building this angle where, like, Wardlow's like, dude, quit stealing the spotlight from me, but it's not, like, very obvious each time, I guess. So then we go to the back, and we go to the back, and we go to the back. Okay, cut. So then we go to the back where we have, as I'm going to call them, the Undisputed Bucks. It's Red Dragon, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole all in the back. But they're talking, and it's still kind of like awkward, hostile tension between the Bucks and Red Dragon. And Kyle's like, hey, Adam, I need a moment with you alone. And Matt's like, well, anything you say to Adam, you can say to us. Like doing that shit. But Adam's just like, alright, no, I got this. Basically, Cole's like, look, I know I'm going to have Fish out there, but I expect to have you in our 3-on-3 match. I hope to see you out there, but like more threatening and heelish than that. So Dan Lambert comes out to the ring, and basically he destroys Cody and his whole family and Arn and just everybody connected to Cody. And he demands a title shot for his boys until Brandy comes out and calls him a less talented Paul Heyman and says, and then he responds to that. This made me pop, is why I'm writing it down. He responds to that, and he says he prefers to be called Cornette instead. So Brandy runs him down and gives a freaking fire promo. Like, I wasn't expecting that from her. And she actually holds her own on the stick, which that surprises me. Anyway, she's ready to, like, fight him until Dustin comes out and is, like, trying to keep the peace. And then Ethan Page comes out to... Ethan Page blindsides Dustin as they all leave. And then we go to that commentary to advertise what's coming up after the ad break. We come back and we have a pre-recorded video breaking down next week's title match between Hangman and Danielson. I'm so ready for it. By the way, I want this to be known. I have this written down for last week's match, which we'll get to that. But let it be known that I still believe that this whole judge coming out thing, like the judge to decide who's going to win, it's going to be so scripted. Not in the sense of like the wrestling term, but I mean like Danielson's going to hire some judges that like will intentionally be impartial towards Danielson, and that's how he'll win. Then we get Jade versus Thunder Rosa, who's freaking dressed up like Wolverine, claws included. That made Dylan pop. But it's a finals match for the TBS Championship. They had a solid match, but it ended in a screwy finish, which I was kind of upset by. But Jade ends up winning when, quote-unquote, a crew member hits Rosa with something that's very combustible. I don't know exactly what it was, but as soon as it hit her, it broke and apparently knocked her out for 5 seconds. After the match, Rosa jumps her Jade, only for the masked woman to attack her and reveal that it's Mercedes Martinez. Then Ruby Soho runs out with a pipe, and refs come out to restrain her, basically. And everybody rolls out the heels roll out of the ring, and they're like, ooh, stare down. Alright, they played the finals for next week, and then they show some previews from the last little bit between Chris Statlander and Leela Hirsch. And then they plug what's happened, basically, as we go to the break. Alright, we come back and they show a video package for Britt versus Riho, and they plug at the, I'm trying to think what it's called. Hold on, look at notes. There we go. A Battle for the Belts match. Sorry, let me try to speak. I know it's hard for me. They plugged a match at Battle for the Belts between Riho and Britt Baker, and I believe it's for the AEW Women's Championship, I believe. Yeah. So then they plug CM Punk coming out after this break. They come back from the break, they showed that video package like I talked about. Then Punk comes out. Sorry, I just checked my notes to make sure I'm reading what's right. So then Punk came out, and then he talks about how much he loves Jim. He's so glad to have him back. And then he transitions to like, I never have been in the Daily's Palace before, but there was a good friend of his that was there, Brody Lee. He was talking about how like that touching video package that they put to give tribute to Brody Lee is basically the reason why he was like, man, I want to come back here. And it was good. It was a good promo how he segues from topic to topic, making sense how we go from talking about the subject, which was him. This is his first promo inside. This is the first time him being inside the Daily's Palace, basically. We transitioned that into what I'm about to say. He says that he's done with MJF because MJF said he was done with him, but he wants to go after the title eventually. And then he said that he'll probably see MJF sooner than later, and it'd be a shame if someone interrupted him in his quest for the gold. So, they're teasing they're going to come back to that. They're going to let that build. I appreciate that. Commentary then goes to a promo from Team Taz saying that Dante doesn't want any of them, basically. Then we show a replay of last week when Sammy lost his title. He then comes out, and we have like a picture-in-picture. He holds up a bunch of signs, basically says he's going to beat Cody for the title again. Alright, then we come back, and after official commercial break, and we have a Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida promo. Then we go to the ring, and Pillman Jr. talks about basically that what Black's done in the past couple of weeks, and he just wanted to try to protect someone he sees as a brother, but he said next week there's going to be a new Brian Pillman Jr. Then for some reason Black just appears on the end of the ramp and then disappears, mind games or whatever. Then we get a promo for next week's matches. We get a pre-recorded package for the Acclaim towards Darby and Sting, and then vice versa. And then we get another pre-recorded package for Tajay versus the Bunnies, as I'm going to call them, because I'm not going to lie, I'm sorry, I forgot the other person's name. Please forgive. That's my fault for being dumb. Then they plug our main event after this break. So then we come back, and it's time for our main event, and the fact that freaking Red Dragon uses their bomb-ass song popped me. Like, I've loved this song for years and years, and I'm so glad that they can use it in AEW. And then Adam Cole comes out, and he interrupts the song. It was playing for like 2 seconds. I'm like, come on. But anyway, they basically do their Undisputed Era, like, you know, in the middle of the ring thing, but without the hand gestures. And then the best friends come out, and they have a 3v3. Like all these matches, I don't want to spoil too much, so I'll just say this. It's a great match, and here's what happened at the end of the match. So, towards the ending, Kyle accidentally kicks Adam in the head, and Adam's on the apron. And due to the Young Bucks interfering later, the Red Dragons end up winning. But after the match, the Young Bucks are like holding Adam Cole, basically being like, "Hey, look what he did to you." You know, trying to persuade Adam Cole to not be friends with him. And the Bucks and the Red Era. You know what? Keep that. The Red Era. They have a altercation. Basically, Bucks are on the ramp. Red Dragon are in the ring, and they're you know, as we fade to black. You know, despite how awkwardly I got through that, I honestly would rank this like a very, very high up. Like, you can tell, considering how packed next week's AEW is, you can tell they were kind of leaving a little bit for next week, but overall, this week, they did not lack this week. It wasn't as killer of a week as, like, last week's was, which, by the way, last week's review will come out sometime after this one. I'll say that. It's a great way to end the TNT run. I'll take it. Hey, thanks for watching. Basically, you can click off at this point unless you want to know what's going on with the channel. If you click off, though, here's some video links. Yeah, so what's going on with the channel real quick? Why I didn't upload last week? If I say, like, I'm going to upload a week and then don't, it's just me being procrastinating, I guess is the way to say it. But yeah, we're still good. We're still good. I'll try. This is what I'm going to try to do, right? I'm going to try to upload this one, then upload last week's Dynamite, then next Friday, or going into Saturday, I'll try to upload last week's Rampages and last week's Smackdowns. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Alright, sorry, I lost my voice there. Coming back now. And then Monday, I'm going to try to upload both Raws from last week and that next week's. So, you know, that Monday's. Anyway, have a happy new year, everybody. I think I have a review coming up on the 1st. So I'll see you then, theoretically. Bye-bye.